Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave with my good friend Don Davis. Don is from St. James, Missouri, in case you were wondering. What are you playing tonight, Don?
Well, this is a D16T.
D16T.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Martin.
That's a new one on me. I don't know what a D16T is.
Well,
What's
the T stands for the turtle.
Oh, the tortoiseshell?
Tortoiseshell, yeah.
The tortoiseshell binding.
And then the 16 is fairly common.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard of the 16. I just didn't know what the T was.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. When did you start playing music, Don? How old were you?
Oh, well, that goes back probably 10 years old.
10 years old?
That'd be about 69 years ago.
You're not telling how old you are, though.
No.
That's pretty cool. Had you ever played in a band? Like on stage, pretty regular or anything like that?
Well, I did. I started out playing country, the old country from the 50s and the 60s. And the old timers on the Grand Ole Opry at the time,
Oh, yeah.
Ernest Tubb, Roy Acuff, and all those guys.
You can't beat those guys. Yeah, they were great.
And the group I picked with, they played old country, and that's what we did for about 18 years, I guess, or so.
Well, I know you also have a passion, or at least I think you do, for steel guitar, right?
I love steel guitar. Can't play one, but...
You've been to a lot of the steel guitar conventions and things, haven't you?
Yeah, they used to have a international steel guitar convention in St. Louis, and DeWitt Scott, they call him Scotty, headed that up, and that went on for several years. I'm not sure you tell me. They started back in the 60s with that, and then he passed away, and it ended shortly after that. Probably 10 or 15 years ago now. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe in...
I know you went there a lot. I remember you talking about it.
About every year,
Yeah. Well, guys, you're in for a treat. He's going to play a lot of tunes tonight that I just don't know, and I'll just tell you right up straight up front, I don't know them. So, and they've got quite a few chords in them. So for the most part, I'm just going to slap a rhythm, just kind of like a snare drum type thing, and I'm just going to mute my strings and just kind of do something like that, just so you know. If he knows, some of the chords and things, he'll mention them to you, but otherwise we'll just fake it until we make it. But I'm going to start off tonight with Common Sense. That's a song I wrote. Someone asked for it last week, and I wasn't prepared last week because this is just a song I don't do very often. I kind of like the song, but hope you enjoy it. We're going to do this in the key of C. It's just C, F, and G. It just goes in a circle. Here we go. Common sense ain't that common anymore. And I wonder, was it really common or just a metaphor? I know the way we raise our kids, it's out the door. And I don't think common sense is common anymore. Can you pick some of that, Don? Smartphones do our thinking, sad but true. More power in your hand than Armstrong took to the moon. We don't use our minds to perform any chores. And I don't think common sense is common anymore. Our leaders make new laws we can't enforce. Catch and release is the method they all endorse. And when something doesn't work, they just spend a lot more. And I don't think common sense is common anymore. No, I don't think common sense is all that common anymore. There you go, common sense. Wow, Don is a picker. Very nice. Yeah, he is. Trust me, you're in for a treat. You really are. He's doing a lot of tunes that he doesn't play with the band. Now, you have to understand that he just, if he practices these at all, he practices them all by himself because the band doesn't play these. There's a number of them, in fact, but they're great tunes. So the first one he's got on his list here is "Oh by Jingle." It's in the key of C. This one is kind of chordy. Do you know any of the other chords in the song, or just?
Well, no, I really don't. Sometimes I make the changes.
He plays them by ear type thing. He said when he learned them, he didn't really learn the chords. He just picked them, you know. And I get that. I totally get that. In fact, for me, when I'm learning a new song, it's way easier to pick the lead notes to it for me than it is to pick to find the chords. That's just me. I have trouble finding the chords, and therefore I'm not going to try to even find them. I'm just going to slap rhythm to it. Okay, it's "Oh by Jingle" in the key of C.
It's got a F minor, I believe, and then maybe a E, and then it goes to a D and G and C, and
it's just
kind of goes around the horn.
Yeah, it just got a bunch of stuff. It's a pretty tune. I think you're going to really like it. Good. Awesome. That's just awesome. Let me find my list here. I had a list that there it is. That's killer. So we're going to kind of trade off here. I'll do a tune, and then we'll have him do one or two. You never know, and how we're going to do it. If you'd like to support our cause, we would love to have you help us out. That would be you could do that with a super chat by clicking on that $ down there in the below the doobly-doo thing down there somewhere. There's a $sign. So you can click on that and make a pledge if you would, or and it's kind of my preference, if you just send us an email through PayPal, you can send a contribution through PayPal to my email address. And my email address is rosastringworks@gmail.com. rosastringworks@gmail.com. All right, let's do, we're going to do another tune I wrote. In fact, I'm going to pretty much do all tunes that I wrote tonight, except for maybe the ending tune. We may do a request. I think we had a request for Carmen today, so we'll probably end with Carmen. All right, so this is the wedding band song. This is a song I wrote about all the stuff I found here on the farm. And I was finding a lot of Civil War stuff. I found a wedding ring. I found some child's toys. And so I titled that together and wrote this song called The Wedding Band. Sarah married John, 64. And in that same year he marched off to war, leaving Sarah in the valley all alone. But that would change soon after he had gone. She washed the baby's clothes in the nearby spring. And it was there she lost her precious wedding ring. Feeling more alone, she longed for his return. The nights were long as her heart would yearn. And then 160 years passed into view, when her precious wedding band was found anew, just as if her soul were there for all to see. Sarah, John, and their baby. How about it, Don? Pick the first half. Excuse me. I got choked right at the critical moment. The war raged on as Sarah made her way. The baby grew more like John every day. She prayed that one day soon the war would end, and she'd see John coming round the bend. And despite the odds, John made his way home. And though weak and sick, Sarah would hang on, till the baby's daddy held him to his breast, allowing Sarah to find eternal rest. And then 160 years pass into view, when her precious wedding band was found anew, just as if her soul were there for all to see. Sarah, John, and their baby. Pick it again there, Don. Then 160 years passed into view, when her precious wedding band was found anew, just as if her soul were there for all to see. Sarah, John, and their baby. Sarah, John, and their baby. There you go. The wedding band. Good job picking that, Don. That's Don's first time picking that tune, because he always is on the bass.
Yeah.
Now you see why we keep him on the bass, because he just shows us up too bad. My goodness. He even shows us up on the bass. He does that so well. Let me look at here. David Sutter, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it very much. I'm just looking for comments here. Ronald Todd said, thumbs up, everybody. I'd appreciate it if you do that. Dottie said her donation's on PayPal. Thank you, Dottie. Scott Roberts said, common sense. Okay, Jerry, I might want to interview Don before you. No offense. I'm just an old traditional country music lover. Don, your picking style is very much like Merle Travis, and I think that's a compliment.
That's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big old compliment right there. Yeah, it is a lot like Merle Travis, I think. Michael Andrus, very nice play along tonight. Glad to get to see Don shine and come out from behind the bass. Yeah, I agree with that. Let me slide down here a little further. Loving this duo, heading to PayPal. Well, thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Let's see. Bill Shell says hello from Kentucky. And Scott Roberts says the Opry could use replacement for the sheriff, Jimmy Capps. There you go. There you go. Maybe Don could put in an application. I'd vote for him. Yeah, I think he could do that easy enough. That wouldn't be no problem. He could do it. There's no question. All right, let's see here. I think I did the last one, so it looks like you're up again. So slipping around. How about that?
See, yeah, what do we do that in? C?
It says C here. Is this just C, F, and G, do you think, or has this got more to it?
I'm sorry.
C, F, and G, or is there more to it?
Pretty much.
I think that's all there is, but I'm not sure. I know we have played this one before, so maybe I can play this one. Maybe. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Very good. Slipping around, right? That's what that was called?
Yeah.
You know anything about that tune, like when it came out or anything, or who did it?
That goes back I think in the 40s probably.
Back in the 40s. That was just a day or two before me.
Wrote it, but I knew of him. I can't think of his name.
Cool. And we got another super chat there from Zacharak 55. Thank you very kindly. We appreciate it very much. Let's see here. William Pagan says that 92 watchers, so we should have 92 likes. Well, I kind of agree with that. It's just common sense. He says common folk. Anyway, let's see. Scott Roberts says, Don's picking sounds a lot like Hank Snow's style as well. Have you noticed that? Okay, definitely AM old school. Definitely AM old school.
We used to do an old Hank Snow song once in a while, didn't we?
Yeah, I do an old Hank Snow tune. I don't know if I'll do it tonight or not. I actually, if I'm practiced up, I can actually sound a little bit like Hank Snow. I don't sound exactly like him, but I can. So we used to do his tune on stage. Pardon me, I forget even what it's called now. Pardon me if I'm sentimental. Something like that. That's the way it starts off. Anyway, Don, do another one. This is more about you than me. So you got Up the Lazy River. Now, this is one, I mean, I've definitely heard Don play this, but this is not one we do in the band. So, but knock her down. He's gonna do it in the key of G, it looks like. And do you know any other chords in this one, or is this one's pretty chordy too, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of goes around the circle of fifths. It goes from G to E and back to A and
G to E to A, okay, like a circle of fifths type thing.
And there's a couple other chords that I'm not sure.
Well, mostly I'll be just hitting the rhythm. So anyway, you just go right ahead and pick it. Very good, very good. Cool. Yeah, that one's over my pay scale. Let's see. Dottie says her grandson's recovery time is 3 months with physical therapy. Well, I hope he does okay. I know he had to have his hand operated on, and hope that works out okay. Kim Williford says, "Yay, I love it." And well, we just want to thank you all for being here and supporting us. We appreciate it very much. Scott Roberts says, "Up the lazy river with a lazy mandolin player." I love it. Well, I was at least paddling. I was paddling. I just couldn't do any more than that. Well, I mean, I could find a few of those chords, but then I just didn't want to take a chance on messing him up.
We didn't have time to practice it up there.
No. Let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and do one here. I got Grandpa's old fiddle. This is a true story about my grandfather and his fiddle. I wrote this 2 months to the day after he passed away in the middle of the night. It's in the key of D dog. I don't think you need the capo on this one.
Okay.
That was Dirt Farmer that we were doing.
Okay.
Anyway, and you'll just do a DA turnaround on this one. It's a fiddle turnaround. If we had a fiddle, we'd have a fiddle do the turnaround, but we don't have a fiddle. So Don will do the turnarounds tonight and pretend he's a fiddle. Anyway, it goes like this. It's just 1-4-5 D G G and A, and then there's a 2 chord in it, which will be your E Edward. An old battered case, weathered and worn, with the hinges all rusted and the fabric all torn, but still cradled inside was one old precious thing. It was Grandpa's old fiddle. Oh, how sweet they ring. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melody, and he played it from his heart for my wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. Turn around. Da-da-da. Very good. He was the most honest man that I ever have seen, and his time on this old earth was most precious to me. Well, he lived on the Current River at the mouth of Blue Springs, and at night the hills echoed as his old fiddle would ring. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melody, and he played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. How about it again? I was just a boy at the time, but I remember one day when Grandpa and the old fiddle, some old tunes he did play. Now Grandpa, he has left us for heaven above, but he left me that old fiddle, and now I play it with love. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melody, and he played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. Yes, that old fiddle's still ringing up in heaven above. Very good. Good job, Don. Well, that was a true story. That for years when we were playing in the St. Louis area, that was by far my most requested song. And one of the DJs up in that area called me from over in Illinois and said it was their most requested song on their program too. So that was pretty cool. Let's see. Looking for question marks. Kim's praying for the grandson, and that's a good thing. Scott Roberts. Paddle on, Jerry, paddle on. Well, that's what I'm doing. And these days, I can't hardly pick anyway. My fingers are so stiff and sore. I before Don got here, I vibrated them for about 20 minutes, but, you know, it is what it is at this point. Kim Williford, I love Grandpa's old fiddle, my daddy's old guitar. Well, great. Scott Roberts, do you know Cash on the Barrelhead? I really like that tune. I know it's not one of yours, Jerry, but I really do like it. I've heard Dolly do that song. I've heard other people do it too, by the way, but I heard Dolly do a good version of that song, Cash on the Barrelhead. Do you know it?
I've heard it. I think Charlie Louvin may have had a.
Yeah, he may have wrote it.
He may have. I don't know.
I don't know for sure, but I heard the only real, like version I can remember was the one that Dolly did on her bluegrass type album. Kim Williford says wahoo, and then let's see, Anthony Galarza, wonderful concert. I would appreciate it if you all picked some fiddle tunes like Little Beggar Man, Billy in the Low Ground, or Blackberry Blossom. Well, Anthony, I'd do that if I could, but I really don't pick very many fiddle tunes. I can do a couple like Liberty. I can play Liberty. I can probably play Old Joe Clark, something like that, but I can't really do very many fiddle tunes. Let's see. Kim says, great picking, Don. Dottie says, nice chirping, Jerry. And Don, fantastic picking. And then Bill Webb says, good evening. Okay, well, let's see here. I think it's your turn to do another one here. Where were we at? You got Amazing Grace there. And
Amazing
you want to
Grace,
pick that one?
Yeah.
That one's in, you're going to do it in C.
Yeah, I didn't see them.
I think this is just straight C, F, and G, I think.
I might tell you a little bit about that. I play it slow like it always is, and I'll play it for a little bit, then I'll play a fast version, fingerstyle, then I'll go back to straight picking.
Oh, okay.
Well, my cousin passed away. He's one of my best friends, although he's my cousin. And he wanted me to play that at his funeral. And I said, well, if I can, I sure will. And he said, do it just like Chet Atkins did it. Well, he wasn't a guitar player, but he'd heard of Chet Atkins and knew the style that he played. But I don't know that Chet ever played it. If he did, I don't know. He probably did, but I never heard him play it. So I said, well, I'll come up with something. So I play it slow, then I'll just throw in a little bit of the fingerstyle and then go back to the slow part again.
Okay, well, I'll try not to mess you up.
But, and ever since I did that for him, well, I've always done it that way.
Okay, well, I'll try to follow along. We have not practiced this, so we'll just do what we do. Or I'll try to stay out of it mostly. Beautiful, beautiful.
Almost made it through it.
Yeah. Let's see there. Tell Don to tell us about his guitar. We did that at the very beginning, but you probably missed it. It's a Martin 16T, right?
D16T.
D16T, and the T stands for tortoiseshell binding.
Tortoiseshell binding, yeah.
Yeah, and the tortoiseshell pick guard too.
My wife got me this for my 50th birthday.
50th birthday. So you've had it a day or two, haven't you?
Yeah, about, wow. How many years?
Well, 29?
29, yeah. So it's getting
I'm not real good at math, but I can figure that one out based on your math you had earlier.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then Kim said the same thing about the guitars. So let's see. Moving down, I'm looking for questions or things. I don't know if I missed any or not. Scott Roberts says, how about the song Boil Them Cabbage Down? Well, I don't do it very well. I mean, I can play it if somebody else was leading it, but I'm not real good on it. I doubt Don does that.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's a good fiddle tune, though. And
yeah, it's a good one. I'm just not real, good on fiddle tunes. That's all. I just don't do very many. Like Sally Gooden is one that I can't play at all. I mean, I literally cannot play that tune because I don't hear anything in that tune. Fiddle players can play that thing and play it 19 different ways. I can't even play it one way. I just can't play that tune. It just doesn't work for me. Scott Roberts, that was a fine rendition of that Chet Atkins song, Dang Don. You are really good. Let's see, brand spanking new gang. Okay, I don't know what that means exactly. Bill Rhodes, Don, that was some mighty fine picking. Well, good.
Thank you.
Let's see, do another one there, Don. Do your Waltz Across Texas.
Oh, okay.
And this is going to be in the key of A, it looks like.
Ernest Tubb was one of my favorites.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's great. Yeah, I could probably get through that one, but I'd just be faking it and just messing it up, so it wouldn't really be that good.
That's what I was doing.
Well, you do real good on it. Ronald Todd says, how about some Sally Gooden? Well, I just got done telling you about that, so I guess either you're trying to be funny or, let's see, man, the talent just oozes out of Don. Boy, that's for sure. Let's see. I just love that picking Don. Okay, well, cool. And let's see. I guess we'll do another one of mine. We're going to do the song I wrote about the tragedy that this couple was at one of our shows in Wentzville. And almost a month to the exact day, the phone rang later. It was a month later. And this man starts asking all kinds of questions about the show. Well, first of all, he said he was there and he enjoyed our show. He said he really liked it. But then he starts asking questions like, did anybody take any pictures of the crowd that night? And he was being real kind of mysterious, you know, and I thought, I wonder what he's doing. Is this some kind of insurance deal or something? You know, I mean, I didn't know what he was getting at. And he didn't want to tell me. And finally, he did tell me, and his wife was killed in a car wreck on the way home that night. And in fact, he had just got out of the hospital that day himself. So it was a bad car wreck, obviously. Well, we never did find a picture of the crowd. He wanted a picture of the last thing they did together. But I did write him this song, and I invited him to my next show, and I sang him this song and then presented him this song in written form and framed it for him. So anyway, it's called Did Anybody Take Her Picture? It's in the key of D, and it's just 2 chords. You can't hardly mess this one up. It's in D and A, and that's it, just D and A. And so whenever, if you're not in D, go to A. And if you're in A, then go back to D. That's really all there is to it.
I might just try my capo on this one.
Okay. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I didn't know it was our last night together, the last time I'd see her alive. Side by side we watched that show together, but on that lonely road that night she died. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let the picture speak for her. Pick it, Don. Take her picture. In fact, it never once crossed my mind. But now that she has gone on forever, well, I think about it all the time. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. Take it again, Don. I have only my memory to relieve and remember the good times we had. If only I'd taken a picture, I could speak to it and wouldn't feel so sad. Did anybody take a picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. Yes, I'll just have to let a picture speak for her. Yeah, kind of a sad song with kind of a happy beat.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? The comments. Scott Roberts says he's also an Ernest Tubb fan. He said thank you. And Ronald Todd, good song, Jerry. 2 chords and the truth. Yeah. Well, it was the truth. It was a true story. Scott Roberts, sheesh, Jerry, you 7ths on that song are a dead giveaway. I love it. Thank you. Well, good. I do probably more 7ths than your average mandolin player. I'm not sure it's a good thing, but I do a lot of 7ths. It does help a lot of times to have the band follow a song, especially when they're not familiar with. If you put those 7ths in there, they can hear the changes coming, you know. It does help.
Helps me a lot.
Dottie says she loves that song. And the pickin', wow. Ben Boyd, I assume Don started playing the guitar first, so why did he pick up playing the bass? Well, I think I'm going to speak from my perspective, and then he can tell you the truth. But from my perspective, he would sit in our jams, our bluegrass jams, a lot and play with us. But he played this finger style. Well, bluegrass is really hard driving, and I think he wanted to fit in really well, and he does a great job on the bass, and man, he kills on the bass. On the guitar, he picks a little soft, so it's a little hard to hear him in a jam, because there'll be 15 people around like that, and it's a little hard to hear him. So now, Don, you tell him the truth. Why did you start playing the bass?
Well, that's a lot of it, but well, I never thought about playing bass until about 15 years ago. I played country music all the time in the 50s and 60s. And I didn't like the new country. I don't like the new country now. And
can I just interrupt there and say that I turned my country radio station off in 2001, and I haven't listened to it since. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I couldn't and didn't want to change.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I've always liked the bass, but never thought about playing it until, like I said, I started picking with the bluegrass jammers. And I like to get in close where I can hear, and since I can't hear very well, I thought, well, if I play bass, maybe they'll let me get real close, Yeah. So I just took up the bass, and everybody needs a bass, it seems like, so it's pretty easy to wiggle your way into the crowd with the bass,
You'll never run a bass player off at a bluegrass jam, that's for sure. I'm always joking, whenever we don't have a bass, I'm saying, well, if Don would have showed up, right now, I'd give him $1,000, Well, then he comes in about 30 minutes later. I said, well, Don, if you'd have been here 30 minutes ago, I'd have gave you $1,000.
I was always a day late with $1 short.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Anthony's asking, because you capoed on that song there, and I was playing in D, so when you capo on the 2nd fret, you play your chord would be a C. Mm-hmm. So, because you're going 2 frets up, and you can demonstrate it on a mandolin probably the easiest way, believe it or not. So there's my C, and if I put a capo on, I'm just moving up 2 frets, and there's the D, see? So I pretend a lot of times that when I see if somebody with a capo on, I pretend I have a capo on, then we're playing the same chords. Because all I do is slide it up 2 frets, and that's what he did there. Basically, he put the capo on the 2nd fret, and then he plays in the key of C. So there's my C. All I did was slide my C up to where the D is. That's the way I think about it in my head. That way, when I'm in a jam, and if they're playing a song I don't know, I know exactly what chords they're playing, just based on the fact that I keep it in relative, the relative shape or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, you have anything to add to that the capo there?
Well, it gives me more of a open string sound with the flat top guitar. Open strings always sound good to me, better than a barred chord on a rhythm, and sometimes it's easier. You're used to playing in C, but they go to D, where you can do the same thing in C again, just move up.
Just move it up. That way you're playing exactly the same way. I don't know if Don's this way, but I know whenever I'm trying to pick on the guitar, for me, C is about the easiest chord to pick in, for me, most of the time. And so, just sliding it up, you're still playing in C then, So, kind of cool. Let's see. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there was any other comments there or anything we need to address. Kim says she loved your bass story there. And does Don play any other instruments? Okay, you play guitar and you play bass. Do you play anything else?
No, that's about it.
That's about it, huh? All right, let's see here. Whose turn is it? I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
Let's see. You did Waltz Across Texas there. How about your Silver Bells? Do that.
Well, okay, we can do that.
We're going to play till about 7 o'clock, and then we're going to shut her down, just so you know. Again, if you want to support us, you can click on that Super Chat button, or you can send us a email to rosastringworks@gmail.com, and you could send that through PayPal, and then you can make a contribution that way if you want to do that. That way Don will have some money to get home on. You know, gas is expensive.
In A chord.
In A? I forgot what we're playing now.
Silver Bells.
It's called Silver Bells in A. Very good. Let's see. I think I'll do another one here. Let's do Vine Covered Church in the key of A. So this will probably be a case where he'll put his capo on the second fret, I would imagine, and he'll play the G position. And so basically that's what I did again. See, here would be my G. So if I slide it up 2 frets, I'm still, in my mind, I'm still playing G when he has his capo on, see? Because that way my chords and his chords match. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but if you can think that way, it really helps you, like in a jam, when you don't know the chords to a song, especially if you know how to fake like you have a capo on your mandolin, it works really good. It's that way the chords are identical. All right, so we're going to play Vine Covered Church. This is a song I wrote about a little church that was covered in vines down on Highway 67, I think it is. Or what goes down through Farmington? Is that 61 or 67? Do you know?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, it's one of those highways. We were on our way to a bluegrass festival, and this little, I just got one glimpse of this little church, and it was just covered in vines, and you could tell it was fallen down. There was a graveyard right there next to it. You could tell it was dilapidated. But every place I played this song for the first year, and I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating, every single time I played it, every time somebody came up and told me a story about that little church, and that includes all the way out in Dodge City, Kansas, over in Illinois, anywhere I was, and I told the story about that church. Somebody told me, told them about the song. Well, somebody then came and told me a story about the church. It was amazing. For a whole year that happened. So it goes like this. Vine Covered Church. You won't find it on a well-traveled highway. It's not even on a dusty gravel road. And you have to want to be there when you find it, 'cause it's not on any maps I know. Out across the field through the pasture, then you climb along a steep and rocky trail. And when you cross that little creek in the valley, you'll see that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray. Built with their hands from the forest, still stands as a marker for the grave. The siding and shingles are tattered, the steeple leans slightly to the right, and though all the windows are shattered, you can still hear them singing at night. The brothers and sisters who worship, they gather in this holy place still, though they lie at rest in the valley, beneath that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray. Built with their hands from the forest, now stands as a marker for the grave. It still stands as a marker for the grave. When I got off stage, the very, very first time we ever played that song out anywhere, we were down in that part of the country. Ironically enough, we were on the Farmington Auction Barn stage. And we just got off stage and walked behind the stage, and a man came around there, grabbed me by the arm and said, "Son, I love your song about the vine-covered church," because he knew right where the church was, because he, lived in that area. And he says, "But do you know you have to change the words on your song?" And I looked at him and I, "Why would I need to change the words?" He goes, "You don't know?" "I don't know what." He says, "They just tore that church down yesterday." And I thought, isn't that crazy? It was just like the song, it just sent chills up my neck, It just like the song was meant to keep the little church alive. I thought that was so cool. Well, anyway, Don, what are you going to do next here?
Well,
have you ever been lonely?
Never been lonely.
My goodness.
Another old country song.
Yeah. We'll have him do this song, then we'll do one more to end it, okay? So that's just so you know. So
this is in G.
It's in G, okay? And I'll just pretend like I know something, and I'll mostly be paddling. Beautiful, beautiful. That is some fine, fine picking right there. Ben Boyd says, Jerry, your mandolins, muted mandolin sounds better than mine when I'm playing open. Thanks for the play along. Great shot, it says there. Or great show, I guess is what that's supposed to be. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. Jerry and Don, what country singer did this song? Was it someone like Connie Francis?
Have you ever been alone?
Yeah.
Well, Jim Reeves did it, but someone surely did it before him. But
that sounds like a Jim Reeves song now that you say it.
In fact, I think they dubbed in Patsy Cline. They recorded the records separate, but they combined the two. They happened to be in the same chord and the same speed, and they put one part Jim and one part Patsy Cline.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Owen Bradley did that. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, let's see here. I'm going to just do one last song. This was a request today, and this will be the only song I'm doing tonight that wasn't one I wrote. So this is a tune called Carmen. It's in the key of C. Maybe we'll have Don pick this if he can. I don't know. So, Don, we're going to go right to G on the yodel here. Carmen, Carmen, Carmen. Tonight I am making my body a shaking. Tonight Carmen's coming back home. Tonight there'll be no room for tears in my bedroom. Tonight Carmen's coming back home. Tonight as I stand here, I've noticed my hands here are trembling like never before. My feelings I can't hide, resistance is all that my pride will rush outside the moment she walks through the door. The lips that have kissed her, that's loved her and missed her, are lips that have cursed her at night. Through anguish and torment I've cursed as the nights went from darkness till dawn's golden light. I thought of just taking these two hands and breaking that body I'm aching to touch. I find while I'm waiting there's no time for hating, while anticipating the woman I've wanted so much. Can you play the first part, Don? I place pretty flowers to brighten the hours. I put brand new sheets on the bed. I'm nervous, I'm trembling, recalling, remembering the way that she tosses her head. I've given much thought to the fact that I ought to have more control over my life. How can I fight it? There's no way to hide it. I cannot deny it, the love that I have for my wife. Carmen, Carmen, Carmen. Carmen, by request. Thank you for that request, and thank you all for the support this evening. We appreciate it very much. Don, thank you for driving the distance and putting on such a great show. Man, he is one fine picker. I'm so proud that I can even be in the same room with him. So he does a great job.
Thank you for inviting me up. Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks to all of you for all the support. And by the way, last week when the band was here, you all did a great job supporting us, and financially I'm speaking of, and it's great because I'm able to give these guys checks and pay some of their expenses. So thank you very kindly. We will see you tomorrow on our vlog at about 1 o'clock. Hope you'll be there.